Hello and welcome to Just a Little Something, Episode 8, Part 1. It's been a while since I posted one of these videos, and for those of you who haven't seen one, it's a series which covers some of the things that leaders of independent schools sometimes overlook, omit, misunderstand, or fail to address when it comes to meeting the all-important independent school standards. Feel free to get in touch and let me know which standards you'd like me to cover in future episodes. Before we begin, a bit of advice. If you haven't already done so, please find time to read the Education Independent School Standards Regulations and make sure you're looking at the latest available revised version. The last revision was the 19th of August 2024. Also useful reading is the DFE's Independent School Standards Guidance for Independent Schools. And now, to borrow from the latter document, what I share with you here today is not purported to be definitive guidance on the meaning of the standards themselves. Only a court can give that. Previous episodes have covered the following standards: Standard 32, Standard 34A, Standard 34B, Standard 2, 1A, Standard 3A. Today we will begin looking at Standard 3D. The standard in this paragraph is met if the proprietor ensures that the teaching at the school shows a good understanding of the aptitudes, needs, and prior attainments of the pupils and ensures that these are taken into account in the planning of lessons. I am going to split this paragraph into two parts. Part 1 today will focus on the needs only, and then part 2 will focus on the aptitudes and prior attainments. We're going to kick off by looking at examples of the reasons why schools have failed to meet this standard in recent Ofsted inspections. First example. Staff do not routinely have the knowledge or expertise to adjust teaching to meet pupils' needs and abilities, including pupils with SEND. In lessons, pupils' individual needs are not always understood or addressed. Example 2. Staff have not had sufficient guidance, support, or training to manage pupils' needs. Example 3. All pupils have special educational needs and/or disabilities. They all have an education, health, and care plan. Information in the plans is not used effectively. Staff do not consider the recommended strategies when planning learning. And in the final example, all pupils have special educational needs and/or disabilities. Currently, the information the school provides staff on how to support the specific needs of pupils is imprecise. As a result, some staff do not know exactly how to support pupils' individual needs. Therefore, some pupils find learning harder than they should. So if you are new to the independent school sector and have not yet had your first standard inspection, here is an outline of how you could proceed to address Standard 3D, the part that relates to needs. Make sure you have SEND expertise in your school. Whether it is a SENCO who is employed on a full-time basis or on a part-time basis, whether you are using a SEND consultant who visits your school regularly, or if there is a leader or a teacher in your school who has extensive, successful experience of working with pupils with special educational needs. ideally the category that you support at your school. Also, ensure that this key information from pupils' EHC plans is known by all who teach and support the learning of pupils. The information is their needs, the statutory provision, the outcomes. And I don't mean knowing by just getting them to read the EHC plan. I mean giving this information in easy to digest chunks that staff can access easily and use as a point of reference in their day-to-day practice. I'd advise you to monitor the effectiveness of the strategies and the resources that are recommended on the EHC plan. Get input from relevant professionals who are supporting pupils and feedback from staff who are teaching those pupils and supporting those pupils in their learning, and then adjust these strategies and resources accordingly so that the provision continues to meet pupils' needs. Ensure that staff are actively supporting pupils towards achieving their EHC plan outcomes, that these are broken down into smaller targets that staff are actively working towards and reviewing at least every term to make sure that pupils end up achieving the big outcomes. Organize training in the main needs that your school caters for, ensuring that this training is updated as needed when new cohorts come to your school who might have a different profile than the pupils that you currently have. Also, organize CPD to ensure that staff are able to continuously adapt learning to meet the needs of the pupils in your school. Finally, ensure that staff have access to useful resources that they can refer to get new ideas, to find out about new research. So we're talking about books, we're talking about guides, we're talking about membership to SEND support organizations like NASEN, or, if you find something that's more suited to the needs that you cater for at your school, you could look at the Autism Education Trust if autism is the main area that you support. That is just one example. So that is a quick overview of what I would share with those who are new to the sector and who are worried about meeting the requirements of Standard 3D. If you have already been inspected and have not managed to meet this standard, obviously, I can't share any specific advice because I don't know the reasons why you did not meet that standard. But I would say, in general, make sure that when you are compiling your action plans, that you thoroughly reread the inspection report and extract any instances where failure to meet need is mentioned and why. So I mean, not just focusing on the last part which says this is what you need to do to improve. Go into the body of the report as well. And revisit your notes from the time of the inspection if you were present when the school was inspected. Ensure that you include any relevant feedback which did not make it into the inspection report. And then work in collaboration with those who have expertise when you're drafting your action plan to make sure that the actions that are set towards addressing non-compliance with Standard 3D are going to lead to you meeting this standard when it is checked in future. That is it from me today. I hope this has been useful. As usual, you can get a copy of the transcript for this episode. And for those of you who haven't seen any of these videos before, they are on the company YouTube channel. I will put a link in the comments so that you can access it. Thank you.